Hello everyone, in today's video I'll be discussing about the best of anime shows of 2022. I must say that 2022 was actually by far the best year for anime. I have to say that I have watched one of the most fantastic anime shows I have actually watched this year, and it's so enjoyable this year was with anime action. Anything from fantasy, isekai themed related, intertwined with action-packed scenes and relationships, etc. So yeah, I have to say 2022 was a very fantastic year for anime actually. To be quite honest, I actually really enjoyed this year's anime action. So in my topic of this video, talking about animes of 2022, I'd like to talk about one of my personal favourites that I have actually watched. So without further ado, let's get into my list of my personal favourites of this year. The first anime I'll be discussing is Black Summoner. The Black Summoner is actually, in my opinion, another fantastic show that I personally enjoy. I rewatched the show a multitude of times, and I never get tired of watching this. We see the series' main character, Calvin, wakes up in this fantasy world that he's actually ended up in after being resurrected by a goddess named Marthena. Then he became an adventurer, and throughout the course of the series, we see Calvin building up his own party with mostly a lot of female companions, plus a big strong knight named Gerard. As I mentioned a moment ago, The Black Summer is actually one of my personal favourite anime shows during the summer of this year. I never get tired, I never get bored of rewatching this fantastic series. Even though it's centred around Calvin building up his party actually, I have to say that it is a fantastic series to watch, and the characters are quite memorable as well. Even though every episode of this series is fantastic and enjoyable to watch, I have got one particular personal favourite episode that comes to mind, and that's the 5th episode where Calvin goes up against the hero party actually. So yeah, I have to say that this series is fantastic to watch and highly recommended, and I really am hoping there will be a second season of this series, as I'd like to see more of this show and its characters. Not to mention seeing Calvin and his companions on their next adventurous journey. And I have actually recently discovered that this show is actually based on a light novel series. I personally don't have the light novel myself, of course, but as I will be saying much later in the video, this show has not given me much of curiosity of what's going to happen next for Calvin and his companions. So I just want to lift that alone actually, so I can find out what's going to happen next for him and his companions in the second season, of course. The next show I want to discuss is actually a one that's been airing recently this fall. Beast Tamer. Now, as I just said in my recent video, I love this show with its characters and its story. And Beast Tamer has got one of the most best ever moments that is actually shown throughout this entire series. As I just said in my latest video, when I was talking about Team Rain versus the Hero Party, I always say that the 5th episode of this show is my personal favourite because it's a very justifiable episode. And the main lead male character of this series, named Rain Shroud, he is by far the most kindest, nicest, pure-hearted character in this entire series. Intertwined with Kanade. Kanade, of course, she has actually got pure heart of kindness, as well as she's actually very joyful, not to mention she's so badass as well. They are later joined by Tanya, who is actually by far the most greatest, powerful, and the most brilliant dragon woman in existence actually. In this entire series, I really like Tanya actually. She's not only very powerful, but she's kind of awesome when she actually teases both Lane and Mana in the 5th episode, when she actually cancels out their abilities. As I also mentioned in my video talking about Team Rain versus the Hero Party. They are later joined by 2 fairy girls who are both twin sisters. These 2 girls have actually got very different personalities. Sora is actually more of a shy type of the 2 actually, but Runa on the other hand, she's actually the most energetic and she always teases her sister actually, let alone embarrass her. So yes, I have to say that these two characters are very much polar opposites of their personalities. And finally, towards the conclusion of the first season, the final character to join Team Rain is a demigod named Nina. I will be talking about more of Beast Tamer in the near future actually, as I have videos planned for it actually, as it's my absolute personal favourite of this fall. But I have to say Beast Tamer is a really excellent anime to watch, and it's highly recommended again, actually, highly recommended. And also once again, this show is also based on a light novel. And again, also, I have not much of curiosity of what's going to happen next for Team Rain. But I will look forward to when there will be a second season, which I'm hoping there will be actually. Much like along with the Black Summer, I'm hoping Beast Tamer will have a second season actually. So yeah, I have to say that this show to me personally was really an awesome journey with Team Rain and his female companions. Now the next anime I wanted to discuss is also another fantastic one actually. Lycoris Recoil. As I just said in my thoughts video of this series, I have to say Lycoris Recoil is by far the most action-packed anime ever. You've got cute girls with guns actually up against criminals and terrorists, etc. As well as that, you've got the two main lead female characters, Chisato and Takina. And to me personally, what I love about this show the most is these two girls. Their relationships, as well as their bondness and friendship with each other. And also in fact I like the fact that these two girls care for one another, such as the fact that Chisato stands up for Takina in the third episode. And Takina was really worried for Chisato much later in the series because of what happened to Chisato's artificial heart. Takina was actually very worried and feared that she will lose Chisato actually. And she wants to do anything she can to save Chisato's life. And try and find a way to find something to replace the artificial heart. So yeah, I have to say that Lycoris Recoil to me personally is a fantastic action-packed anime. And I must say that it's highly recommended to watch. Even though that this show is actually focused on the two main lead female characters, it is also action-packed as well. I mean, you got some really most action-packed moments where you got our main lead female characters up against the main antagonist of the series, named Majima. It is a fantastic series with these girls with guns up against bad guys and terrorists and criminals, etc. So yeah, I have to say that this show is highly recommended and it's a 10 out of 10 in my books actually. Now the next anime I'd like to discuss is everyone's fan favourite blockbuster anime series ever. Attack on Titan Season 4 aka Final Season Part 2. So yeah, I have to say that Attack on Titan's 4th season second part was really enjoyable. Not to mention how awesome it was with all the monstrosity and the action-packed moments. But also it was actually in competition with another anime show which I will get on very later in the video. It was in competition with another anime that I was mostly excited the most. So apparently there was another anime that you may know that I was more excited than Attack on Titan. Yes, I'm a big Attack on Titan fan, but even though the 4th season second part, as I know it so well because what's going to happen, because I have actually got the manga series of course, I was more interested on another anime that I was very anticipated and excited to see during the winter of this year. But nevertheless, Attack on Titan's 4th season second part was really enjoyable, and I will never forget this part apparently because this is my personal favourite part of season 4, let alone that it came from one of my personal favourite parts of the manga series. And I have to say that this was a really awesome one actually. And I look forward to the final season's third part next year. But nevertheless, this second part was so much enjoyable. But I suspect it will be equal to that with the third part actually, as it is going to be the final showdown to the franchise. The next anime I wanted to discuss is my personal favourite idol themed anime series, Love Live. And not only there was one, but 2 series of the franchise. And that was a big surprise to me personally, because I never thought to expect to see not only 1 but 2 anime TV shows, Nijigasaki and Superstar, with their own second season. And I was really quite surprised by that, because I never expected to have 2 Love Live shows having their own second season in 1 year. So yeah, it was incredible to see that I never thought to imagine and expected to see 2 Love Live shows in 1 year. And I must say that both shows are amazing actually, but I have got my personal choice of which one is my personal favourite. And I have to go for Nijigasaki, mainly because I enjoy not only with the new characters joining the 10 main characters that we've seen in the first season, but also the songs as well, including my personal favourite actually. So yeah, I have to say this year has been amazing for Love Live, for having 2 separate shows actually with their own second seasons. The final anime I'd like to discuss is actually my number 1 top personal favourite anime series of 2022. Arifureta From Commonplace to World's Strongest Season 2 plus the OVA. I must say that 2022 was a massive big year for Arifureta, as this year is actually an Arifureta year for both the books and the anime adaptation. And I must admit, I really enjoyed Season 2 of Arifureta, as it has adapted very well from Volume 5 and 6 of the light novel series, as well as also the OVA as well. The OVA, I must admit, was so fantastic, especially seeing the prequel series characters meeting Team Hajime in this alternate reality place that they've been called to actually. And I have to say that both Season 2 and the OVA of Arifureta were so fantastic. And even also the light novel series as well, with the last few volumes of both the prequel and the main series. And this is the show that is actually in competition with Attack on Titan's 4th season's second part. Arifureta's Season 2 was actually my most anticipated and exciting anime out of the 2, as I've been more interested in Arifureta than Attack on Titan, of course. And I have to say, Arifureta was a very big anime this year, mainly because of course the Season 2 and of course the OVA. And to me personally, it's an anime I hold dear to me, to my heart, as I love the characters and they're so memorable as well. And not to mention, I love the story, the lore and the world building. So yes, I have to say that Arifureta From Commonplace to World's Strongest Season 2 plus the OVA is the number 1 spot of the top best anime shows of 2022. So my final conclusion of discussing about anime shows of 2022, I have to say this year has been amazing with anime shows actually, as well as my own personal favourites that I have actually discussed on this video, which are my personal favourites of this year. There have been other great anime shows being released this year. Not to mention also the movies and OVAs. I have to say that the OVA of Arifureta and of course the movie of Quintessential Quintuplets, they were so amazing and exciting to watch actually. Other great anime shows, even blockbuster ones such as like My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer of course, they were also brilliant as well, despite I have actually never actually watched these 2 actually. But I have to say this year has been so brilliant actually with anime action, and I have to say this is a really great year to remember of brilliant anime shows that we watch. But I hope some this year will actually have a sequel season, such as Licorice Recoil, Black Summer, Beast Tamer, and of course we know that Arifureta will have another season of course, as Season 3 currently in production right now. And also with the final part of Season 4 of Attack on Titan, and that is another excitement to see next year. So anyway, this is my end of discussion of talking about the best anime shows of 2022. I hope you enjoyed my discussion of talking about my personal favourites of these shows. And put your personal favourites in the comments below. And anyway, put a like and subscribe to my channel. And a happy new year to you guys. Let's see some more anime action, hey? Bye guys!